Hello there, you're as welcome as could be. M-A-R-T-Y. I have no idea how to finish that. It can't be M-O-U-S-C because I'm way bigger than a mouse. I'm like 300 mice. But anyway, hey everybody, how you doing? Yes, the hits keep coming. It's October and it seems like every day there's an October surprise of some sort. But there's a whole lot of other news too. So we're going to figure it out. We got a lot of people already here. This is awesome. It's nice to see people jumping in as before the stream. If it gets started, it's good to see that. And it's just a sign that we're growing. So it's a lot of fun. It's humbling a little bit, but I'm so glad you're here. And yes, one of these days I'll have the new outro finished and maybe some new preview music. I saw you, Uncle Bobbity. I saw what you did there. And you're right. It's time maybe to get rid of some of the whatever you call it music and figure out something else. Anyway, let's play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, Dawg Knight. Stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, me, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet, and welcome back to the PDawgKnight channel. Is it Hump Day? Hump Day! Yeah, it is Hump Day. It's Wednesday, the 7th of October, 2020. And, it's been kind of a little bit outside of the show. I've been a little melancholy. As you know, my father passed away a week ago Sunday, and then 2 days ago was my dad's birthday, the man I grew up with, George Johnson, a very good man. He and my mom, they had adopted me when I was 4 years old and grew up in a very very normal life for a kid who could have gone any route being in foster care, but I was fortunate enough to be adopted, and they were good people. And my mom is still alive. She's 91 years old, still living in Omaha in her same house that my parents built in 1969. My gosh, they've been in that house for, that's 50, 60, 40 years, 41 years. Pretty amazing. 1970, 50, oh, wait, no, 70, 2020, 50 years. My parents have been in that, or lived in that house, or my mother's lived in that house. And, but you know what, when my father passed away, my dad passed away about 6 years ago. And, he's a veteran of the Korean War. He was a combat medic. He was one of those guys that was out in the field and someone would get hurt, and he'd be one of the guys who transport, people who have injuries or casualties to the MASH units. And that's what he did. So I remember when he never really talked about it much, but he had a couple pictures back from when he was in Korea. And it didn't click in my head when I was a kid, but when we'd watch MASH, my dad really didn't really ever get into that show too much. But my mom and I should say, always really liked that show. But anyway, enough about me today. Let's get into what I'm here for. And one of the most fascinating things, now when I say the hits keep coming, not just the daily October surprises, or what did I call it before? The Trump daily bombshell somethings. It was the TDBS. Trump daily bombshell. The TBDSs keep coming. But also there's always some bombshells directed at some other people that aren't necessarily friends of the president. But even before I do that, I got to say good morning. Plus, I have one little snippet that I'm going to show you before I say good morning. And that would be this. This one cracked me up yesterday. So there was a town hall, right? ABC had a town hall for Joe Biden talking to undecided voters, undecided voters supposedly, and there's a little problem with the undecided voters. So here it is, NBC News. I'm sorry, NBC News. Undecided voters previously featured as Biden supporters on MSNBC. Questioners openly supported Democrats prior to Florida town hall. So they had this town hall. NBC News featured a pair of so-called undecided voters during a network town hall earlier this week who had previously declared their support for Democratic nominee Joe Biden on the network's sister channel, MSNBC. Lawyer Peter Gonzalez and marketing executive Ishmael Lano posed questions to Biden during a town hall on Monday when he appeared before what the network described as an audience of undecided voters. Oh, wait, what the hell happened there? Hey, wait a minute. I'm not having any success there. What the hell is going on with my thingy here? My thingy. Did I just say that out loud? My ding-a-ling, everybody's thing. She knows she's playing with my ding. Okay, I don't remember that song. Who was that? Was that Ray Stevens who sang that song? My ding-a-ling. Anyone remember that? Anyway, so both Gonzalez and Lano, however, were featured in an MSNBC segment in August to explain why they support Joe Biden. If we get 4 more years of Trump. Okay, I'm just going to show you the clip. There's a clip here showing, do they have this here? Oh, they don't have it. Well, I wonder if I could find that video. There's a video. Let's see here. Let's see if we can find the video. Here it is right here. Watch this. Watch this video.
Welcome back, Miami, and the town hall meeting with former Vice President Joe Biden, taking questions from undecided voters. Peter Gonzalez has next question.
Welcome to Miami, Mr. Vice President.
And what's funny,
Connecticut, and I've been living in Coral Gables.
I remember this guy.
We get 4 more years of Trump. Good luck.
Yeah.
Future.
Oh, in August, he was a Republican voting for Trump. Oh, how perfect. You just can't tell anymore that it's the same guy. Let's try the next one.
Younger voters.
Let's go to Ismail Eliano, who voted for Hillary Clinton.
Ismail Eliano. Oh, he looks familiar too.
What's your question for Mr. Biden?
Hi, Mr. Vice President.
Things
oh, he just took his glasses off, so he looks a little different.
His speech that resonated with me was, what defines America as possibility.
Mateo Gomez joins us now.
Okay, so anyway.
First-time voter, came to the U.S. from Colombia at age 2.
Oh, and this dude...
Spent a lot of time in Colombia.
Let's see here.
Thank you, Lester, for the introduction.
After watching the debate, Mateo Gomez told us he really didn't feel like he got a whole lot out of it, and it really did not do a lot to help him.
If you had to pull the trigger and vote
oh my gosh, tomorrow, a third guy.
How would you vote?
Probably Biden in this sense. It would.
Oh, it was Chuck Berry. Thank you, constantly.
Just how unpresidential the whole entire debate was.
So all 3 of those guys had previously said they were voting for Biden, and they were the undecided voters in the NBC town hall. Isn't that special? And that's still not working. Hang on a second. This drives me nuts. I wonder. Let's check my screen here. So let's do this. Let's say good morning to everybody because I haven't done that yet. Did my screen come across there yet? Let me double check. Yes, it did. Okay, good. Well, let's say hi to everybody. But unfortunately, it seems as though my bell's not working. Looks like a whole lot of stuff's not working. I had a little trouble. I had a little reboot problem this morning with my computer. I almost didn't make it here today because things weren't working. So you're going to get the manual sound effects today because my friend Richo, my friend from down under, was the first one to appear in the chat. Ding! That's about as good as I can do. Also, good morning to Black Hebrew Israelite. That's right. Good morning to Maddie, Chadwick Dupree, Tyler F., all the early birds today, Jaeger Pony, Kevin S., Good morning, good morning. Also, Gunfox61, Keaton, Uncle Bobbity, Tarai Deo, Suzanne Wild. Good morning to C. Thomas Gulf City Peasant. What's up? El Boomer will never see that I am here. Well, I see that you're here, C. Thomas, and I'm glad you're back. Also, good morning. Let's see. Talik, how you doing? Let's see. Renee Mayette, hello, good morning. And Uncle Bad Touch, Zombie Teddy, Kessler, Reese Donald, Lowrider, how you doing? Let's see, who else is here? Got Atheist Icon, Cynical Lindsay, what's happening? Dead Uncle Bobby, Balin Bobby's also here. I'm sorry for your loss. Well, I appreciate that, Uncle Bobby and Tales of Gore. You know, I mean, it was just weird. It's, you know, my just, you know, going through, because it's funny because my son called or texted us yesterday because he couldn't remember. He always got my dad's birthday mixed up with my mother-in-law's. And he always thought one's the 5th and one's the 11th. And so he texted to make sure that he didn't miss my mother-in-law's birthday because she's still living. And so, yeah, it just got me thinking, man, you know, I'm down to one. Well, actually, I'm down to two. My mother is still alive in California, and my mom is still alive in Omaha. So, I mean, and both are doing pretty good. I worry about my mom a little bit, but just because she's, you know, she's up there in age, and you know, she lives alone, and I talk to her quite a bit though. Anyway, all right. Also, good morning, Tales of Gore. Let's see. Thank you for the first super chat of the day, by the way, from Pink Hollow, the driving 8-man with the Canadian $2, who says, I missed it, and damn it. This, so like I said, I'm having technical difficulties. I'll have to wait to read that in a little bit. Let's see, who else is there? Avocados Diablo, gotcha. Manny. Select a boy, yeah, boy. Duck Dog, good morning. And Donatello Slapperfellow Piccolo says through super chat. Yes, the YouTube super chats work now. That would be, look at you all monetized. Ooh la la. Yeah, I am finally monetized. If you get, by the way, I made it so that you should be able to skip commercials. And I specifically that I hate it when you get a commercial, especially on a live stream, and the commercial's like 8 minutes long. So hopefully if you're at a point where you get a commercial during my stream and you cannot skip it, please let me know, and I'll try to make sure my settings are correct. Also, good morning to Hig 1966 and anyone else who's lurking or just in the background. I appreciate you all. So, yes, finally monetized with the 1,000 subscribers. They also opened up my feature where you can put messages in the YouTube thing. Like, people sometimes just put messages in there. They still haven't opened up my mobile streaming yet, though. In fact, let me see. Let me just check that real quick. I don't think they, which is kind of annoying because I could have used their version. And your channel does not meet our eligibility requirements. Okay, still doesn't work. Whatever. I could do it through Streamlabs now. And go buy my merch. Yeah, I do have merch. I can't put the merch on there either, but we'll figure it out. All right, let's get into the other stories today. So I was talking about the hits that just keep coming. And let's see if this works yet. Nope. Gosh, it's driving me crazy. And everything's going really slow. And and everything just reset there. All right, well, we'll figure it out later. Let me see. Let me check my settings here. Make sure I'm still going through my GPU. Because that thing sets every once in a while. Hang on. Output. That might be why everything's getting stuck today. Does not say. Okay. Well, hopefully we don't have any other problems besides these few minor ones. All right. Let's get into some of the stories today because two big stories happened yesterday. One had to do with, John Brennan. John Brennan, the former CIA director. And it has to do with some declassified article, or declassified handwritten notes from Mr. John Brennan. Malia Carr, what's happening? It's a rare treat that you're in the chat. Nice to see you. I'm glad to see you back. I know your schedule is really kind of funky compared to mine, especially being down in Australia and me not. So I get it. And also, good morning, William. Holy shit, that's hard to say. William Wheeler. There we go. Good morning. Breaking DNI. Which is the Director of National Intelligence, declassifies handwritten notes from John Brennan's 2016 CIA referral on Clinton campaign's collusion operation. Now, this is significant because remember about a week ago, they declassified some intelligence that the CIA and the FBI were given that Russian intelligence knew, or it's possible that it was false information. It's possible it was true. We don't know, but they had this information that the Russians knew that Hillary Clinton was going to try to pin some of the little Russian spy shit they tried to tie to President Trump. It was a strategy because in 2015, we also knew, according to, what's the guy's name? John, he used to be on the Hill. John Solomon. John Solomon knew, or got some information, that the Clinton campaign was trying to figure out what their biggest weaknesses were, right? And so they did some polling, and they found out that one of their biggest campaign weaknesses was the Uranium One debacle, where the Obama administration, with the blessing of Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State, and everyone in the Obama administration, had sold 20% of the United States uranium production capacity to Russia. Okay? Now, the Clinton campaign, seeing that this one of their relationship with Russia, and also the Russian reset and everything else they did with Russia, Hillary Clinton seeing that her campaign, seeing that was one of their weaknesses, decided that they were going to try to flip the script, according to this Russian intelligence, and try to paint the Trump campaign and President Trump as some nefarious relationship with the Russians and or Putin. Okay? Now, that was poo-pooed by the media because it's, of course, the media is almost fully in the Biden camp. So they need to make sure that anything that's good or bad, anything good for Trump gets squashed. Anything bad for Trump gets blasted across the universe, right? So they poo-pooed it. Well, now they've declassified another handwritten note from John Brennan. On Tuesday, the National Director of Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, declassified and released to Congress handwritten notes from former CIA Director John Brennan, as well as a CIA investigative referral to James Comey and Peter Strzok, you know those names, requesting that they investigate Russian knowledge of Hillary Clinton's anti-Trump collusion smear operation. Top U.S. intelligence officials were so concerned heading into the 2016 election that the Russians were aware of and potentially manipulating Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton's plan to smear Donald Trump as a Russian agent that they personally briefed President Barack Obama, and none of my sound effects are working, and I know Rich hates that one anyway, on the matter. Newly declassified Central Intelligence Agency documents show. CIA officials also requested that the FBI investigate Russian knowledge of the Clinton campaign's collusion smear operation. Newly declassified handwritten notes from former CIA Director John Brennan show that the U.S. intelligence community knew in 2016 that Russian intelligence was actively monitoring and potentially injecting disinformation into Clinton's anti-Trump collusion narrative. The intelligence concerning Russians' knowledge of Clinton's campaign plans were so concerning to Brennan and other national security officials that they personally informed Obama of the matter in the Oval Office in the summer of 2016. The handwritten notes from Brennan were declassified by the Director of National Intelligence, John Radcliffe, and provided to Congress on Tuesday afternoon. According to the declassified notes, the U.S. intelligence community knew, Brennan and the U.S. intelligence community knew that months prior to the 2016 election that the collusion smear was the result of a campaign operation hatched by the campaign of Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. Now, before I even go further, isn't that funny? Because there are notes that they notified Obama of this. Plus, think about it. Can you remember? Now, this is a multiple choice question with only one answer. Well, actually, there's two answers, and they're both right. Do you remember who? Do you remember who paid Christopher Steele through the law firm of Perkins Coie, who paid Fusion GPS to pay Christopher Steele to pay some Russian spies, agents, whatever you want to call them? In fact, the agent who gave Christopher Steele the information had been under investigation by the FBI in 2009 and 2010. Who paid them again? Who paid them through the law firm of Perkins Coie? Oh, was that the Hillary Clinton campaign and the DNC? Isn't it funny how all these notes and memos and little things they're declassifying? Isn't it just, it's such an amazing coincidence that they all just fit together like a puzzle, like a little kid's puzzle of Mickey Mouse, and the little pieces all fit so neatly. It's unbelievable. It's totally believable. It's amazing. And had Hillary Clinton won the presidency in 2016, we would have never found out any of this. Isn't this amazing? Quote, we're getting additional insight into Russian activities from, redacted, Brennan handwritten notes state. Cite alleged approval by Hillary Clinton on 26th of July of a proposal from one of her foreign policy advisors to vilify Donald Trump by stirring up a scandal claiming interference by the Russian security services. Huh. Does that sound familiar? Does that? And now, here's what gets me. So, and also, all this information went to Comey and to Peter Strzok, and yet they just kept going with it anyway, right? That's what I don't get. Somebody in this operation had to have said at some point, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, we should stop this shit because we're going to get busted sometime along the way because everyone wrote shit down. And here's the other thing. Now, I don't know. Now, granted, some of this has just recently been declassified, so, none of the people who've been looking through this have been able to look at it, except for the people who could have access to that type of classified information. But you gotta think, at some point, either during the Mueller investigation or during the House's Intelligence Committee investigations and or interviews and or whatever bullshit they came up with, somebody should have said, put the brakes on. What the hell is this bullshit? And why are we not talking about this? Now, granted, some of it was classified, but why? Why did we have 3 years of the Mueller investigation? Why is James Comey not at least in a trial right now? Peter Strzok, at least in a trial right now. John Brennan, at least, well, he should be behind bars already. They let this bullshit go for 3.5 years. Now, here's what also here's a kicker. Yesterday on CNN, this information came out. Okay? The information came out. Now, there was also I'll get to the New York Times story about something else. This news about John Brennan's notes comes out. Now, granted, the mainstream media, the whatever you want to call them, assholes, Democratic operatives, they really, you didn't really hear much about this on this yesterday. And here's an interview. So John Brennan goes on CNN as a guest, I guess, because he's a CNN analyst. John Brennan, the former CIA director. All these assholes have jobs with the media now. Thank you, C. Thomas, for the $2 super chat. You mean to tell me that all the Russiagate stuff was all a gay op by Clinton to cover up and distract from her and her lackeys' dealings in the grandest show of projection in the U.S. history, and Trump is an innocent man? Nah, Trump Putin asset for real, though. I wish my damn bell worked. I'm going to fix that in a minute here. Thank you, C. Thomas, for the first super chat of the day. Oh, I didn't do my... Well, C. Thomas, you are my superstar donor of the day because you are the first super chat of the day. So thank you, sir. Even though it doesn't show up there. Now I can't even get my shit to work. Anyway. So, John Brennan goes on CNN yesterday. This is the news of the day. This is after this happens. Jake Tapper, who used to be, even though you could tell he had his leftward leanings, at least Jake Tapper sometimes pretended to be objective about things. Listen to the first question that Jake Tapper asks John Brennan yesterday. We're going to go through this interview.
With all but one member of the Joint Chiefs of Staff now self-quarantining and President Trump himself in recovery for COVID, there have been national security implications invoked in the last few days. Former CIA Director John Brennan is with me now.
Wait a minute. Jake Tapper wants to talk to John Brennan about COVID? Wait, we had breaking news yesterday that this is declassified. Listen how long. Well, let's go into this interview.
He has a new book out just today. It's called Undaunted.
He has a new book out.
My Fight Against America's Enemies at Home and Abroad.
John Brennan has a new book out. Fantastic. I wonder if his book says anything about these notes they just declassified. Oh, wait. Jake's not going to ask him about that first? God.
Thank you so much for joining us, Director Brennan. Appreciate it. Congratulations on the book. Let me just get your initial response to President Trump, the President of the United States, having coronavirus.
Oh, yes. We definitely need John Brennan's opinion on the president having coronavirus. That's the first thing I'm thinking about when you're when your notes have been declassified that maybe have some sort of implication as to your own wrongdoing. I don't know.
Well, we all wish him a full recovery, I think.
Oh, bullshit, Brennan. You hate Trump. We know you hate him, but whatever.
We need to have two very healthy candidates vying for the election next month. But I am concerned about the disruption to the national security hierarchy in terms of people who are falling ill as a result of COVID.
How about... wait a minute. Hold on. This is not what we want to talk about, John. Why are you talking about this bullshit? Because that's what Jake asked him first.
And so clearly there is concern that our foreign adversaries might try to take advantage of that because of the preoccupation and distraction that is understandably underway right now as we try to ensure that the health of our senior officials is going to be fine.
Okay,
so how would they do that? How would foreign adversaries...
Oh, no, not the second question. How would they do that? How would foreign adversaries do what, Jake?
Adversaries, whether Russia or China or Iran or North Korea, how would they try to take advantage of a situation like this?
See, here's the thing, because nobody else in the entire administration handles anything except for President Trump. President Trump particularly handles every detail of this intelligence apparatus himself. He doesn't have any, there are no bureaucrats who constantly, who do this stuff. There's no one to back him up. I mean, if Donald Trump is sick, well, who can do it? It was funny because the other day the Lincoln Project put out a tweet when Trump went to the hospital. Their tweet was, "Who's running the country?" Motherfucker, the president doesn't run the country. Okay? I run the country. You run the country. People living their lives run the country. There are thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of bureaucrats who do all the shit that makes the country run. Okay? The president gives speeches, helps direct foreign policy objectives, and shakes hands. That's what the president does. And signs bills when other people write laws. If he likes them, he signs them. If he doesn't, he says, nope. The president doesn't run the country. But anyway, let's go back to this and see how long it takes Jake to ask the question that I want him to ask, because it's the biggest news regarding his guest.
Well, might China try to do something right now in Hong Kong in terms of increased pressure? Might Russia try to do something in Belarus, a country that has experienced a fair amount of...
Yes, because the president can't take phone calls. Hello, Infamous on 3. Or Infamous on 3. I think, is that how you pronounce it? More like Infamous on 3. And also, good morning, Anna Lynn. Let's continue.
Political instability over the last several months. Might the Iranians try to do something in the Gulf? Or a terrorist attack taking place? Thinking that the U.S. government is, in fact, preoccupied and distracted here in Washington because of the COVID pandemic.
Yes,
So I'm sure that foreign...
Yeah. I'm sure nobody in any of those other countries have COVID either. Thank you, GunFox61, for the $3 super chat through Streamlabs, who says, watch closely. You're about to watch a boomer moment. Marty, the left only watched CCP approved news. Side note, can you check out the Discord channel so we can get that finished and out the door? Yes, I did check I did log into it, and we're gonna put out a strategy. We'll talk about that soon. But yeah, I will have my Discord server up and running soon. As soon as we have a kind of a game plan for it, because I want to decide what we're going to use it for and things like that. So that'll be soon. Also, thank you for Low Rider with the $1.99 through Super Chat on through the YouTube Super Chat. Thank you. Who says Uncle Bobbity is a super patriot? Well, yes, he is. And thanks for sharing that, Low Rider. Thank you. All right. So let's see what else John Brennan has to say.
Adversaries' intelligence services have their collection systems turned up high so that they understand
Okay,
exactly
John, yeah,
how
that's
disruptive
not really
this
what I'm talking about, because
pandemic is,
this-
again, on our national security structure.
Yeah, we should point out that on this day 4 years ago,
infamous 0 and
the
3.
Access Hollywood tape hadn't even dropped. The WikiLeaks emails hacked from John Podesta.
Okay, now again, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Let's go back to what he says here.
The Access Hollywood tape hadn't even dropped.
Wait a minute. Now, what? How do you get into that?
Systems turned up high, so that they understand exactly how disruptive this pandemic is, again, on our national security structure.
Yeah, and we should point out that on this day 4 years ago, the Access Hollywood tape hadn't even dropped.
How? What the hell does that have to do with anything? Jake? Jake, can you get back into 2020 and ask John the question? The question. What are you talking about? Hello, Check Your Logic. How you doing? Hello, Zach Osborne. What the hell are you doing, Jake?
The WikiLeaks emails hacked from John Podesta hadn't been dumped, which the Russians obviously had a hand in, according to...
Oh, obviously? Obviously? Really? Jake, just a few weeks ago, they declassified the Intelligence Committee from the House, their skiff fucking hearing, where the people who supposedly had the proof that the Russians hacked anything, said they don't have any evidence that the Russian hacked anything. They just kind of thought, oh, well, this looks like it could be.
To the intelligence community.
Oh my God.
Comey hadn't come back. There's still a lot of time for a lot of things to happen that could potentially impact the election.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. It's a very unsettled time.
Absolutely.
It always is before a major presidential election. As
can we talk about the elephant in the room?
Are involved in the campaigning that goes along with that election.
Good
so you
God,
layer on
Jacob.
top of that the pandemic, and you layer on top of that then the economic disruption.
Blah, 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 blah.
If I were a foreign, adversary of the United States, I'd be looking at how we could take advantage of the United States position
are you giving
right now,
them advice, John
which clearly
Brennan?
has been, I think, weakened. Now, I do think that there are very robust structures and chains of command in place in the U.S. military. So even though many of the Joint Chiefs are ill with COVID, they are an advisory body. They're not in the chain of command. So I am confident that U.S. military forces, as well as the intelligence professionals around the world, are continuing to carry out their jobs and are trying to do their utmost to keep this country safe.
Wait a minute. Now, the obvious question, the only question that John Brennan should have been asked in this segment shows up at 3:15 into the interview. 3 minutes and 15 seconds into the interview. Finally, Jake Tapper wakes up and says...
Speaking of intelligence professionals, the Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, has now released a number of documents declassifying them, including one that is your own handwritten notes on Russian intelligence.
Yes.
Russian intelligence alleging that Hillary Clinton was plotting to stir up a scandal about Donald Trump to distract from her email scandal. What can you tell us about these notes that you wrote about this Russian intelligence? And what do you make of DNI Ratcliffe releasing them right now?
Ah, really? So instead of now, if this were any other, let's say somebody on the Trump side of the ledger, do you think Jake would ask the question that way? Or do you think Jake Tapper would read aloud the words that this man used, and then do you think he would ask how do you feel about Radcliffe releasing this information? I don't give a rat's behind droppings out of the draft, whatever that is. How John, how do you feel about John Radcliffe releasing this? I don't care. I want to know. Jake should be asking him, okay, you said this. What did that mean? You said this. Why did you say this? You said this. Why did you say this? Both questions were, how do you feel? I'm going to go right back to this question. Where is it? 3:15. 3:15. Listen to these questions.
Most to keep this country safe.
Speaking of intelligence professionals, the Director of National Intelligence,
Yes.
John Ratcliffe, has now released a number of documents declassifying them, including one that is your own handwritten notes on Russian intelligence. Russian intelligence alleging that Hillary Clinton was plotting to stir up a scandal about Donald Trump to distract from her email scandal. What can you tell us about these notes that you wrote about this Russian intelligence?
What can you tell us about these notes? He just told you. Oh. And
what do you make of DNI Ratcliffe releasing them right now?
What do you make of Ratcliffe releasing them? I don't care. I want to know why you wrote the notes. Were they true? Do you disavow them? Do you believe them? Did you think they were true? Do you think that why didn't this come up until now? They're your handwritten notes. Now listen to Brennan's answer.
Well, John Ratcliffe is anything but an intelligence professional.
First answer is to insult John Ratcliffe, which, granted, John Ratcliffe probably isn't an intelligence professional, but he's a competent attorney. He's been a member of Congress, and he's not some swamp creature fuckwad like you, John Brennan. But anyway, I digress, and pardon my use of terminology. That is not usually the type of terminology I like to use on this show, although it happens more than I want it to when I go on rants. Anyway, let's go on.
It is appalling, his selective declassification of information that clearly is designed.
It's appalling. It's appalling. Oh, poor John. I'm sorry you're having such a bad day. It's appalling.
Designed to advance the political interests of Donald Trump. And
whoa. John, they're your notes. You wrote them. They're in your handwriting and your speech pattern, for example. John, I'm kind of wondering, how do your notes help the President of the United States? That's very curious. Huh.
Republicans who are aligned with him.
Okay. But they didn't ask about that. He asked about the notes. What about your notes, John?
These were my notes from the 2016 period when I briefed President Obama and the rest of the National Security Council team about what the Russians were up to, and I was giving examples of the type of access that the U.S. intelligence community had to...
I was giving examples of the type of access the U.S. intelligence community had to the Russians intelligence committee, blah, blah, blah.
Russian information, and what the Russians were talking about and alleging.
Okay. Now, what's funny about this is I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh yeah, that was just misinformation, yada yada yada, this and that." This is just the kind of tough stuff that they were talking about, but it was misinformation, nothing to see here, right? Hello, Hicknagai Monk.
Now, if in fact what the Russians were alleging that Hillary was trying to highlight the reported connections between Trump and the Russians, if in fact that was accurate.
Wait, whoa. Now, let's go backwards to something I said earlier. He said if the Russians were doing this and that and this and that, trying to, come up with this information, blah, 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 blah. I think we just talked about this a few minutes ago. Who was it? I'm going to ask this question again, and now you know the answer because I've told you the answer, but now we're going to see how closely you were listening. Who was it that paid Perkins Coie, the law firm, to pay Fusion GPS, to pay Christopher Steele, to get Russian information? Christopher Steele, who wrote a dossier based on information they got from a Russian agent who the FBI had, we've documented that the FBI had investigated in 2009 and 2010. Who paid for that again? It was Hillary Clinton and the DNC. Funny how this information that they supposedly we're just trying to show the president how we are able to hear what the Russians are saying about some stuff. It's funny how it just happened to fit the little Mickey Mouse puzzle. That piece was right there. There it is. And oh my gosh, it fits right there. How convenient. How convenient that it fits perfectly. It's amazing.
It's a big if.
Oh, a big if? How did that piece fit so nicely? Like, it's the perfect corner piece right there.
There is nothing at all illegal about that. And so John Ratcliffe and others are trying to portray this as potential.
There's nothing illegal about that. Okay, let's think about that. Okay, there's nothing illegal about giving this information to the President of the United States. Was the President Donald Trump? Oh, no. We told this to, who was the president at the time? Oh, Barack Obama. Or should we say, now, I'm sorry, the proper way to say it these days is the Obama-Biden administration. Oh, we were informing the Obama-Biden administration that we had information that the Russians were talking about, and they were just chatting over here. They were just chatting in hypotheticals that possibly Hillary Clinton could be trying to connect the other campaign, that guy with the funny hair, Donald Trump over there. They were trying to connect that campaign with the Russians, even though we did our Uranium One deal and we're kind of malleable, and the Russians would have rather had us, our administration, because we were predictable. The guy with the funny hair is not all that predictable, but they were going to try to take, we're going to take our weakest, our weakest feature of our campaign and try to pin it on that guy with the funny hair's campaign. And then they would be, then we could call him Putin's puppet. But me just telling Obama about that, nothing to see here. Come on now. Come on. That was just me and having a chat with Obama, just telling that our intelligence community's capabilities. Yes, that's all it was. My name is John Brennan, and I'm sticking to it.
Unlawful activity that...
and it's not unlawful? Okay. So, yeah, giving that information to the President of the United States about Hillary Clinton, the funny guy, hair guy, and everything, that was not unlawful. Of course it's not unlawful. But wait a minute. Let me think about something here. So, John Brennan, former director of the CIA, who knew this information because he wrote the notes. It's in his handwriting. He wrote the notes. They're his notes. Some of it's redacted because it's still classified. But he said, didn't he testify under oath a few times during this whole Russia thing? Did he not? Did he not do that? Huh. Hello, MC. Hammer time. Yes, the sound effects aren't working today. I could have sworn John Brennan has testified at least once or twice, and I'm pretty sure he'll be testifying again. So, how the hell did this happen? Let's see what else he says.
Observed follow-up investigation by the FBI.
Oh, yeah.
No, it was a campaign activity. But again, I was giving examples to the president and others of the types of access we had.
Okay.
And I was blind to whether it referred to one candidate or the other.
I was blind to whether it referred to another candidate or another. Except the notes that you wrote said it was the Russians talking about Hillary Clinton trying to come up with some scheme to pin the Russian bullshit on the guy with the funny hair. Ugh. It's time for the Scott Adams simultaneous sip. Nerves calmed. John Brennan.
I was blind to whether it would refer to one party or the other. And what I might also point out,
what else?
I know that John Ratcliffe released a memo that was sent over to the FBI. Yeah. It's called a CIOL, which is a counterintelligence operational lead, which was, again, a very selective release and declassification. There are a lot of other CIOLs that...
Oh, there are? Oh, interesting.
...that talk about the contacts that were taking place between individuals associated with the Trump campaign and the Russians. So he might want to think about trying to balance some of these releases by providing information to the American public about what the intelligence community had unearthed during this period of time.
Well, yeah, hold on a second. Mr. Brennan, John Brennan. What? We can't see the video. All right, I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. It happens. What, Mr. Brennan? What was that whole 3-year investigation that the special prosecutor guy, Mueller, and the team of 17 or 18 Democrats and, Weissman, who really ran the thing. What was that shit all about then? We've been talking about that. This is the stuff that you didn't talk about, that you didn't mention. By the way, hang on. Why didn't you declassify all the notes? Well, guess what, John Brennan? Guess what's about to happen? The president... Let me see if I can find it here. Well, John Brennan, this should be of interest to you. Trump authorizes total declassification of any and all documents pertaining to Russian hoax and Clinton email server. I wish they'd stop talking about Clinton's email. I don't give a shit about Clinton's email. What I care about are the servers in which she stored classified and top secret information. I don't give a rat's ass about the emails. It's the classified and top secret information that she had outside of government facilities illegally, including on the laptop of a convicted sex offender that were in her charge. The email, stop, Clinton email, stop saying Clinton email. Start calling it the illegally handled classified and top secret information. That's the the server contains the email, and that's how it got transferred, but that's not the bad part, because email sounds so innocuous. I'm talking about the illegally transferred classified and top secret information onto unsecured non-government servers and or computers. That's what it's about. Anyway, President Donald Trump Tuesday night tweeted that he has fully authorized the total declassification of any and all documents pertaining to the FBI's investigation into the Trump campaign and Hillary Clinton's private email server. Okay, that's a little better. Not the email server, which contained classified and top secret information when it wasn't supposed to. Quote, I have fully authorized the total declassification of any and all documents pertaining to the single greatest political crime in American history, the Russian hoax. Likewise, the Hillary Clinton email scandal, no redactions, Trump tweeted. Trump's tweet was a response to a tweet by Real Clear Investigation journalist Paul Sperry, who had tweeted earlier, when all the documents are finally declassified and all the redactions removed from the reports, the nation will see that the FBI and CIA not only knew the Russian collusion allegations against Trump were a political dirty trick, but that they were in on the trick. I wish my bell worked. Sperry's tweet came after Director of National Intelligence John Radcliffe declassified handwritten notes from then CIA Director John Brennan after briefing then President Obama. Oh my God. Obama knew. On an alleged plot by Clinton to distract the public from her use of private email server. Stop! again. I'm gonna edit this sentence as I go. On the alleged plot by Clinton to distract the public from her transferring of classified and top secret information to her private email server and to the laptop of a convicted sex offender who was the husband of her closest assistant. That's more accurate. Nobody gives a fuck about her private email server or her emails. But her emails, nobody gives a shit about her emails. It's not the emails that anyone should give a shit about. Dun, dun, dun. Thank you, Infamous on 0 and 3. So there you go. Who's that hoe? Anyway. So, John Brennan, you just might get your wish on those. Oh, it was selectively, what's the word? Released, whatever. Selectively, whatever. Fine. Trump says, okay, motherfucker. I'm declassifying all this shit, and we're just gonna have a look-see. Anyway, now let's see the other. So the other news yesterday. Okay, enough of Jake Tapper. Enough of that. The other news yesterday. I thought for sure this would be blowing up on Twitter today, but I'm looking at my. I'm looking at the old. Oh, it's not even showing up. None of my. Oh, that's weird. It's not even trending today, which surprises me. Let's see. Haskins. Nope. No. Now, I thought for sure. So, yeah, okay. So every day something trends on Twitter that is kind of the new bombshell of the day. And yesterday, the new bombshell of the day was in the New York Times. We need to take away children, no matter how young, Justice Department officials said. So they're going all the way back to the kids in cages story. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Let me see if I can do this during my commercial. Let me run a commercial real quick, and I'll see if I can fix something while the commercial is rolling. Excuse me. Here we go. I'll come back to this. Hey everybody, it's me, Marty. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I hope you're enjoying the show. The Morning Night Live is sponsored by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please, if you have a moment, take time to share this stream by hitting that little arrow down below or up here if you're on a mobile. And please hit the like button. I know you like it if you're still here and you're still watching. And finally, if you want to support the show, you can do that through your donations and super chats, which are in the description down below. You can do that at Streamlabs link or at PDawgKnight.live. That every little bit helps. And thank you for watching. Now back to the show. All right, and we're back with I didn't realize how washed out I look in this. Yeah, I got to everything reset when I had my technical difficulties this morning, so I'm gonna have to fix all that. Also, before I move on, a couple quick thank yous. Thank you, Angel Tibbs, Necrosaw Collins, and Angel Tibbs, and Tyler F. Cynical Lindsay, Simius, Maddie, Jaeger Pony, everyone who tweets out the show every day. Greatly appreciated. It always helps. And so we're going to just, huge thanks to you guys. Also, I got a message here. Who did I get the message from? You have the link to Brennan's. Oh, the link. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Here's the link to the Brennan story. Oh, did I close that? All right, I'll do that before the end of the show. I'm pretty sure that I had it here. Hang on a second. John Brennan. There's the declassification. Here we go. Here's the Brennan story from the Federalist. Copy and paste. If you guys want to read the whole thing there yourself. And then also I'll give you the story of Trump authorizing the declassification, if you'd like that. Let's reopen that up real quick. I had this right here. Whoops. And then I've got a whole bunch of breaking news that I'll get to in a minute. But the big story yesterday, hello, Andromeda Way. Nice to see you. Andromeda Way, excuse me. I should probably try to say that correctly. And is in the house. And also, good morning, Midnight in Exile. And then here is the Trump declassifying the Clinton, declassifying everything story from Breitbart. There you go. All right. So yesterday, the big story, at least it lasted. It's funny because all these bombshells that have been coming out, there's the Trump Daily Bombshell, the TDBS. Oh, thank you, Hypnagogic Monk, with the $10 super chat. Thank you very much, through Streamlabs, who says, a few years ago, the Department of Defense completely changed their USB storage policy due to one corrupted storage device. Every government worker knows you do not use personal devices for work stuff. Classified, protected, Oh, I know. And the fact that Huma Abedin was taking shit home and loading it up to her husband, who is a convicted sex offender's laptop that he used to send dick pics to 15-year-olds. I think it's probably inappropriate that any classified information ends up on that laptop. In fact, the New York police were pretty freaked out about that laptop when they got a hold of it. And anyway, I always wonder whatever happened to that story. But anyway, so the TDBS of yesterday was this story about how the driving force behind President Trump's child separation department were top department officials, according to a draft investigation report, okay, by the Inspector General. And, but it's funny, all these TDBSs seem to come up and everyone bitches about them for a day and then they disappear. Like, so remember the what was the chick who claimed that Donald Trump sexually harassed her in the skybox of some event and whatever, and tried to kiss her and put his tongue in her mouth and all that shit and grabbed her hiney and shit? Anyone hear from that lady since the day that came out? Like, there's a new TDBS every day. Okay, and there's always something on Twitter that's trending that's bad, because Twitter doesn't really use trending by who tweets shit. They curate their Twitter trends list, and there's always 2 or 3 things bad about Trump in it. Like, oh, I took a picture of one today that I thought was kind of funny. Let me see if I can find that picture. Let's see here, pictures. I found this humorous. Where is this? Oh, so this is the one from this is from a couple days ago. So Twitter trends. You know how Twitter curates the trends, right? So here's what they came up with the other day. So this is on when I opened up Twitter this morning. White House physician says Trump reporting no symptoms of COVID-19. Okay, good. That's right. But look what it says it's trending with. Trending with hashtag Trump is not well. Because the TDS people who hate Trump are tweeting Trump is not well. So it's always something on Twitter, right? Anyway, so the big thing yesterday that came out that I don't even see anyone talking about on Twitter today is the 5 U.S. attorneys along with the border with Mexico, including 3 appointed by President Trump, recoiled in May 2018 against an order to prosecute all undocumented immigrants, easy for me to say, all undocumented immigrants, even if it meant separating children from their parents. And they told top Justice Department officials they were deeply concerned about the children's welfare. Okay. How did you find out that those were actually the kids' parents? Were you doing DNA tests or something? How did you know they were even their actual parents? That'd be my first question. But anyway, but the Attorney General at the time, Jeff Sessions, made it clear what Mr. Trump wanted on a conference call later that afternoon, according to a 2-year inquiry by the Justice Department's Inspector General into Mr. Trump's zero-tolerance family separation policy. We need to take away children, Mr. Sessions told the prosecutors, according to the participants' notes. One added in shorthand, if care about kids, don't bring them in. Won't give amnesty to people with kids. So follow the law, is that what he's saying? Rod Rosenstein, then the Deputy Attorney General even went further on a second call about a week later, telling, they're trying to throw Rosenstein under the bus. Rosenstein's about to take one of the shorts too, because I think he's been a little too involved in these FISA warrants, and I think there's a whole bunch of people about to go down. Maybe not before the election, and hopefully in Trump's second term, because then all these swamp creatures are in real dire straits. If Biden wins, all these assholes are going to get away with the shit they've been doing. Anyway, Rod Rosenstein, then Deputy Attorney General, even went further in a second call about a week later, telling the five prosecutors that it did not matter how young the children were. He said that government lawyers should not have refused to prosecute 2 cases simply because the children were barely more than infants. Now, let me compare this to something. Let's say your next door neighbor, okay? You live in a nice suburban neighborhood, right? You live in a nice suburban neighborhood, and your next door neighbor is this lovely couple with 3 young children, ages 3, 2, and 3 months. Okay, 5, 2, and 3 months, and the nice couple over there, and they're the neighbor children, right? And the neighbor family, and you lived next to them for a couple years. You even, when the beautiful wife over there, they were pregnant and they had their second child, and the other one's 3 months old now, and they're great neighbors. They keep their lawn clean. They have a nice garden in front and all that stuff, right? Now, let's say that the wife one day found some lipstick, that's not her color, and it's embedded in the collar of the husband's shirt, okay? It's the lipstick, not her color. She doesn't ever use this color, and it's also somehow behind his ear, okay? And on his penis, okay? Lipstick that's not her color. And she goes and gets the husband's crossbow that he uses for hunting turkeys and deer. And she goes, gets a crossbow and puts an arrow right through his head, and he dies. Okay? You following me here? You follow me? Nice couple, kids 5, 2, 3 months, lived there for a few years, and crossbow, arrow through the head, dead husband, right? Stay with me. There's a point to this. Now, for some reason, you live in government housing. Okay, you live in government housing because you work for the government, and you're in government housing, maybe the military or something. That you're in military housing, but it's on a base, and that's the little flower garden to the front next to your next door neighbors. And so it goes to federal court because it's on a federal land, and the lawyers for the government, because it's a murder on government property, the lawyers decide, okay, so this is a murder on government property on federal land, but the lawyers see that you have a kid's 5, 2, and 3 months old, right? Do you think for 1 minute they wouldn't prosecute the wife because she has children's 5, 3, or 2, and 3 months? Huh? Are they gonna follow the law or not? Okay, so I as much as my heart breaks that children were separated along the border from their parents who were breaking laws. I'm sorry, that is the risk they took. And so now, does that sound heartless? Yeah, it kind of does. The law is not heartless. The law doesn't have a heart. Now, did they, in a lot of cases, I don't know. So anyway, the John Bash, the departing U.S. attorney in Western Texas, that said these 2 cases should not have been declined. He wrote to staff immediately after the call. Mr. Bash has declined the cases, but Mr. Rosenstein had overruled him. Per the AG's policy, we should not be categorically declining immigration prosecution of adults in family units because of the age of the child. Yeah, because the neighbor there put the arrow through husband's head, she would have been. It doesn't matter if that kid was 3-month-old. Did it? Does it? No. The law doesn't take into account whether you have kids. So anyway, this was the big bombshell on the New York Times. It took up all the air on the New York Times front page instead of the fact that John Brennan, his notes that declassified, telling of the plot that the Clinton team was trying to do against the funny-haired guy. And yes, hypnagogic monk, kids were separated from parents who risked the kid's life already anyway. I mean, that in itself, do they ever, have you ever heard of kids who, parents who have been charged with child endangerment have their kids taken away? Gee, kind of wonder a little bit about these people. Is what they're doing child endangerment? And half the time they're not even their kids. They don't even, So anyway, that was the big story yesterday. So that was their Trump Daily BS, as in bombshell. Yesterday's Trump Daily bombshell was the New York Times article. All right, let's move on because that story, that was, by the way, that story that I told you, I was thinking that up as I was going along. I don't know. Sometimes I'm pretty good at that shit. All right, let's see if there's what else. Other breaking news. Okay, we got the handwritten notes from John Radcliffe. We did that story already. The other big news yesterday was this one's going to get really interesting really fast because the McCloskeys, the couple in St. Louis with the guns and the wife who didn't really know how to hold a gun or whatever, they've been indicted by a St. Louis grand jury. Fox News reports Mark and Patricia McCloskey have been indicted by a grand jury. The charges related to an incident that occurred in June when hundreds of Black Lives Matter protesters marched. Who wrote this story? Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, that's a Fox News story. Listen to how this is worded. The charge is related to an incident that occurred in June when hundreds of Black Lives Matter protesters marched onto a private street the McCloskeys live on. The McCloskeys went outside to confront the protesters. Mark McCloskey had an AR-15 rifle, while Patricia McCloskey had a semi-automatic pistol. The couple contend the protesters broke through an iron gate, ignored a no trespassing sign, and screamed threats of arson and rape at them, while protest leaders say that the march was peaceful and no threats were made. Well, they broke down a gate to get into the street, so there you go. 9 of the protesters were cited for trespassing a few weeks back, but the prosecutor dropped those charges despite the fact that video evidence clearly placed the protesters on private property. Well, that's just fantastic, isn't it? The McCloskey's attorneys, Al Watkins, minced no words in his reaction to the indictment. "This is bullshit," he said, Watkins told Fox News. "I hate to say it, but the state has a lot of problems with this one, and they transcend not just the evidence, but they actually are remarkably problematic from the standpoint of prosecutorial misconduct." Yeah, if I had my bell, that would be a ding right there. Watkins was referring to evidence that the prosecutors may have altered at least one of the 2 firearms the McCloskey used that day. It was reportedly an inoperable prop used in a trial incapable of firing. PJ Media reported this back in July. This is what they said back in July. At the request of Assistant Circuit Attorney Chris Hickney, Crime Lab staff members field stripped the handgun and found it had been assembled incorrectly. Specifically, the firing pin was put in the front of the firing pin spring was put in front of the firing pin, which was awkward and made the gun incapable of firing, according to the documents. Firearms experts then put the gun back together per Hinckley's request in the correct order and test fired it, finding that it worked according to the documents. Crime lab workers photographed the disassembly and reassembly of the gun according to the documents. So if all that is true, it will come out in discovery and it will likely render the case moot. Missouri is a strong castle law state, allowing residents to defend their property with deadly force and with no demand to retreat. The law under which they have presumably been indicted mandates the weapon be used the weapon used must be capable of rendering deadly force. The handgun, if the crime lab had to reassemble it as described above, was reportedly not capable of firing. So they have some problems with this case. I think there's got to be, if this case goes to a point where these two get convicted of something, not only I think would this go to the Missouri Supreme Court or whatever their equivalent is, but if they could appeal this one all the way up to the United States Supreme Court. I'm sorry. That this is insanity that these two have been indicted. It's what the charge is ridiculous. Anyway, the grand jury heard one side of what happened with regard to that firearm, as the grand jury process does not include any exculpatory evidence or cross-examination, and based on the prosecutor's word, also indicted them for tampering with evidence. Someone evidently tampered with it. The question is who? The case is far from over. Both Missouri's governor and attorney general have stated they would overturn it in one way or another. Attorney General Eric Schmidt has moved to drop the charges, and the governor, Mike Parson, has promised them a pardon. There may be no clear case of partisan prosecution in the United States at the moment. The Missouri castle law is clear. The riots had already turned deadly by the date of the incident, which occurred on their private property just a few blocks away from where this incident happened. A protest flashed into a rioting mob that murdered retired police captain David Dorn. The McCloskeys had reason to fear for their lives that day. On the flip side, the protesters were clearly on private property they had no right to be on. Circuit attorney Kim Gardner, she's one of those Soros people. Remember we talked about the Soros-funded prosecutors that have been elected around the country by the help of big money from the Open whatever Society Foundation or whatever the hell they call that. Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner, the Soros-funded Democrat, has dropped the charges against the 9 protesters who were cited for trespassing while pursuing charges against the McCloskeys. Unbelievable. Anyway, moving on. Also, a Texas grand jury has indicted Netflix for lewd visual material in the movie Cuties. Remember the dust up about Cuties a few weeks ago? Well, a Texas grand jury has indicted Netflix Inc. for lewd visual material in the movie Cuties, a Texas state representative said Tuesday. Republican Texas State Representative Matt Schaefer announced Tuesday afternoon that a grand jury for Tyler County, Texas, indicted Netflix Inc. for promoting materials in Cuties film, which depicts lewd exhibition of pubic area of a clothed or partially clothed child who is younger than 18 years of age, which appeals to the prurient interest in sex. I'm hoping every district attorney in the country takes a look at this, Schaefer told the Daily Caller News Foundation, and anyone that gives me 2 seconds, I'm telling the same thing. The state representative told DCNF that the one-page indictment was filed September 23rd and has been public since that time. He is unsure why it has not been reported on until now. So that was that was a few weeks ago. The county district attorney clerk's office told the Daily Caller that a court date has not yet been set for the indictment. So that's interesting, an interesting approach. There's a picture of the indictment there. I'll put this one in the chat too, if you want to take a look at that. But that's interesting. I got to tell you, I don't know if I'm not, it's going to sound right, but I'm torn only on how do they prosecute Netflix and not the maker of the film? But then that's a very complicated case. They're going to try some First Amendment stuff with that, and I don't know how. It's just some awful shit. That is awesome. Fuck pedoflix. Yeah, I tend to agree there. Yeah, that was a big controversy. All right, let's see. Time for the DOJ. Oh, back to the McCloskey case, though. I wanted to do this article as a supplement to that, and then we're going to move on to breaking news. Time for the Department of Justice to investigate prosecutor torturing couple who used guns to protect their property. Now, this is an interesting thing. I said this could end up in the federal courts because of the fact that it is definitely a Second Amendment case. Also, it's not just the Missouri Castle law, which I don't even understand. I wish I should probably look at the indictment. Because I'm not even sure how they can, what they're charging the McCloskeys with, but they are. By now, much of America has seen the horrifying video. On June 28, 2020, an angry mob broke through a private locked security gate, trespassing into a private street in a St. Louis historic district where Mark and Patricia McCloskey lived. The McCloskeys' home stood closer to the gate than any other on the street. Every protester piling through that demolished security gate broke the law, either by demolishing the gate or trespassing onto private property. Some went further, shouting felony threats of murder and arson at the top of their voices. Set aflame by the original false narrative that Minneapolis police murdered George Floyd when Floyd actually killed himself with a massive fentanyl overdose of 4 times the lethal amount, the curse... Now that's... allegedly. I'm just saying it because I don't know why. The cursing, salivating crowd didn't give a damn about the facts of the Floyd case or of any other case for that matter. They never do. They only wanted to destroy. The McCloskeys sat there stunned, frightened, startled, thinking they were going to die. They had one choice. They grabbed their guns and rushed into their front yard to defend themselves. They would not die without a fight. It's the American way. Afterwards, St. Louis Chief Prosecutor, Circuit Attorney Kimberly Gardner turned the case into a political firestorm by unleashing the power of the prosecutor's office against the homeowners. Gardner, overseeing a train wreck of an office and who is famous for her pitifully low conviction rate, spewed disparaging public comments not against the mob, but against the McCloskeys. I am alarmed at the events that occurred over the weekend, where peaceful protesters were met by guns and a violent assault.
I'm not sure what she means by a violent assault. Kind of looked like they were just standing there, but I digress.
We must protect the right to peacefully protest, not on my private property, bitch! And any attempt to chill it through intimidation or threat of deadly force will not be tolerated. In the immortal words of Clint Eastwood, get off my lawn. Huh. Excuse me, Madam Prosecutor. Peaceful protesters don't break down iron gates and then trespass onto private property, then threaten to kill people and burn innocent citizen homes. But the vindictive Ms. Gardner, a Soros-funded Marxist prosecutor, launched a Second Amendment be damned political rampage by making an issue of this innocent couple, her insidious goal to intimidate and chill others from exercising the constitutional right of self-defense. By the way, Soros has contributed $116,000 to a political action committee supporting Gardner, the Missouri Justice and Public Safety PAC. Perhaps Soros' puppet Gardner wishes that the peaceful protesters had killed the McCloskeys and destroyed their home. So bizarrely upside down is Gardner's approach that we must ask these questions. Is her attack against this couple racially motivated? Huh. I hadn't even thought of that. Because, yes. Is her attack against this couple racially motivated? In classic Marxian fashion, might she be seething because they appear to have succeeded economically while she needs Soros' money? Because they live in a big house? Where is blind justice? Now, word comes that a St. Louis grand jury at Gardner's urging has indicted the McCloskeys on weapons charges, among other charges. Wait, in Missouri? Weapons are pretty legal in Missouri, and other left-wing political prosecution percolates into sick reality. It's the Soros way. In St. Louis, Gardner's grandstanding shenanigans go beyond the McCloskey case. In 2018, she tried prosecuting the former Republican Missouri Governor Eric Greitens for trumped-up felony invasion of privacy charges after the state attorney general declined the case. Gardner dismissed the case only after a judge ruled that she had to testify as a witness for the defense and face cross-examination. The Missouri Ethics Commission later found that the governor had engaged in no wrongdoing, Gardner's prosecutions of Greitens had been a clown show. What a shame. Gardner has weaponized her office for political purposes. The Justice Department under Obama often investigated local law enforcement and prosecutors' offices who appeared in the eyes of the Obama DOJ to be violating the law of the Constitution. Take, for example, the Ferguson Police Department in 2014, the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office in 2009, and the Missoula County, Montana Attorney's Office. The DOJ investigated all of them for constitutional violations. Now the Justice Department should investigate another prosecutor's office for abuse of power. This time, the DOJ should target the Circuit Attorney's Office for the city of St. Louis and its chief prosecutor, wait for it, Kimberly M. Gardner. Come on down. The charges against Gardner: political weaponization of her office, intimidating citizens from exercising their constitutional right to bear arms and to protect themselves, and engaging in other reckless, politically weaponized prosecutions. Attorney General Barr should crack down on overreaching state prosecutors like Gardner who weaponize their offices for political shenanigans and who trash Americans' constitutional right to advance their own leftist political agendas. The people of St. Louis deserve better. And so does the nation. And that's the editorial from The American Thinker by Mr. Don Brown. I'll put that one in the chat too, in case you want to use it for personal purposes. And on that note, we should probably take a quick glance to see if there's any breaking news, because that's what I do usually at this time of the day. Hey, before you click anything though, while I'm clicking up the Twitter thingy here, make sure you hit the like button. I don't even, how many people are here? We got 61 people here. Goodness gracious, that's fantastic, but only 36 likes. While you're thinking about it, click the like button. Also, share this stream. The arrow down there. It's like it's right there, I think. And also right up here, Twitter, mine's Gab's, and Gab and what is it called? It says Parler. Yeah, Parler. Follow me on those platforms if you want to get notifications, or just subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't done that so far. Okay, let's see. On the Explore tab, Federal Appeals Court denies Trump's request to shield tax returns in New York. Okay, later, C. Thomas. Thanks for coming by. So, okay, I thought they already did this. On Wednesday, a federal appeals court rejected President Donald Trump's effort to block Manhattan District Attorney's subpoena for seeking 8 years of his tax returns. The case will likely head to the Supreme Court again, according to news outlets. Okay, so that's breaking. They're still fucking around with his tax returns. That Manhattan prosecutor's office, that's the office that said they are specifically going to go after Trump and his family. That's how she got elected. She's another one of those, just one of those agenda-driven attorneys. And so because of TDS, not TDBS, that would be Trump Daily Bombshell, but the TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome, that's their thing. So they're going to try to go after Trump's tax returns, according to the judges. Now it'll probably head to the Supreme Court. Okay, what else we got? On the news tab here, let's see. Anything new? We still got 30. Okay, that's that happened. That is breaking news. So the court denied Trump's request to shield tax returns. White House physician says Trump reporting no symptoms of COVID-19. Of course, most people will probably tell you that's a lie. That's a lie. He's really on oxygen and he's in a ventilator and he's dying and he just made this fake thing, what he did yesterday. But that's how they are, because they just, they want him dead. You know what's interesting, though? We have heard zero information on Melania's condition, Melania Trump, or I think Kayleigh McEnany, she tested positive, but then they tested her again and she tested negative. If that sounds correct, but like Stephen Miller tested positive. They say 17 people in the White House are related to the president have gotten COVID-19. So let's hope they all do just fine and don't go through any serious complications. Thank you, Zan Wild with $1.99 through Super Chat on YouTube, who says, gotta run. Thanks for the show, Zan. Nice to have you here, and good morning. I don't know if I said good morning to you, but I am saying have a great day. So thank you so much for the $1.99. I appreciate that. It's funny. I don't even know where to find those on YouTube and how that works. So I guess I'll find out at the end of the month. But thankfully, they show up in my my Streamlabs feed here, so that's good. Kamala Harris's complicated record could be the focus of the VP debate. Yes, the vice presidential debate is tonight, and Kamala has some. Well, she has some explaining to do, and it's all probably going to be in regards to some of the things that Tulsi Gabbard brought up, and it's going to be interesting to see how she spins that. Now, Kamala is pretty good when she has a script and is, asking questions at a hearing. She's not so good when it comes to pressure on her. When she's putting pressure on somebody else, she's pretty good. When it's pressure on her, she kind of gets that laugh going. Or remember when, what's the dude, the Stephen Colbert interviewed Kamala Harris, and he was talking about how, how can you be running with Joe Biden when you were talking about him having some racist tendencies and being against busing this and that, and her answer was to laugh. It was a debate. It was a debate. It was a debate. Yeah, that's you're right. She tends to just get this really goofy laugh when she gets a tough question and she doesn't have a good answer for it. So it's going to be fun to watch. And also, the other thing is, Mike Pence is like, he's one of those even-keeled people you'll ever see. He doesn't get excited. He doesn't get down. He just kind of has that even thing going, and answers questions in a very calm, manner. And it's going to be really interesting to see the two contrasting styles, because she's going to try to press him on some stuff, and he's just going to look at her and go, well, the president has been very, very diligent and doing his best on that particular thing, and I support the president 100%. That's kind of his answer. He's just the loyal, calm, cool, collected. He's the guy that just says that, doesn't get excited. So if she gets stumped and starts giggling and doing her cackle thing that she does, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting contrast. I plan on watching this debate tonight. Anyway, Vice President Mike Pence has portrayed the Democrat as an emissary of the radical left, but some Republicans say they have found common ground. Here's how it could impact the VP debate. Okay, whatever. Tarini Party says Harris's record ideology will likely be a focal point in the VP debate, with Pence framing her as a radical liberal. We reviewed Harris's record, talked to former aides and several officials from both parties to figure out how she operates her worldview. Like a chameleon? I don't know. Is that a thread? Here, hang on. Let's see what this thread says. For our review, Harris has endorsed some liberal priorities, but also been at odds with sections of the party. She has a pragmatic streak that favors incremental steps over sweeping changes. Oh my God. Somebody at the Wall Street Journal wrote this for the moderates. Her approach is rooted in courtroom rather than ideology. Part of Harris favoring incremental versus sweeping changes is because she pushes for immediate relief solutions in meetings. For an example of that here. Okay, I'm not going to read this, but anyway. So the vice presidential debates tonight. That's the important thing. Watch it, form your own opinion, and get back to me tomorrow. Trump could... this is... BuzzFeed, of course, is hoping Trump could experience the worst COVID symptoms in the next week. I guess we'll find out. They have a list of government and family members and others around Trump who've been tested for COVID-19, some positive, some not. Nobel Prize for Chemistry is awarded for developing a new method of genome editing. And here Biden addresses the national mask mandate and police reform at a town hall posted by NBC, where they had... where they had the undecided voters. But see, even with Trump, that's live. Never mind. Biden addresses a national mask mandate and police reform at town hall hosted by NBC. The Democratic presidential candidate answered questions from undecided voters in Miami, right, at a televised town hall hosted by NBC. During the event, Biden fielded questions about police reform, the first presidential debate, reproductive rights, and whether he supports a national mask mandate. Ahead of the event, Biden and his wife, Dr. Jill Biden, visited Little Havana and Little Haiti, which we talked about yesterday when he said he wanted to see those girls dance again when they were 4 years older. Sounded creepy, didn't mean to be, but it's Joe Biden, so it sounded creepy. Oh, and PolitiFact has a thread about this. Yay! Lester Holt asked Biden what power the president has to create a national mandate. Biden said a presidential mandate can't go beyond federal property. A nationwide mask mandate is easier said than done given current law. That's them fact-checking Joe Biden. Goodness gracious. So they think that you can do it. Biden said he would encourage governors and mayors to establish mask mandates. Health officials largely agree that wearing any kind of face mask coupled with social distancing and frequent hand washing is more productive than going unmasked. Okay. Did you hear what that sentence just said? Okay. Health officials largely agree that wearing any kind of face mask coupled with social distancing and frequent hand washing is more protective than going unmasked. Is it though? Some people compare it. Okay, first of all, this is not an aerosol type. At least they haven't said yet that it's an aerosol type spread. It's more of a droplet type spread. So yes, masks can help. But there are a lot of people out there saying, oh no, it's airborne, because Trump used the word airborne in February in that, whatever that thing they leaked was. Oh, it's airborne. So they're all talking airborne like aerosol or smoke, for example. They'd be using smoke as an example. Well, if it's instead of smoke, then no, a regular mask or face covering is not going to help you if it's coming to breathe in smoke. You're still going to get that, but that's not how this one works. Anyway, governors have the same issues. They can only mandate on state property. Oh, that's interesting. Also, PolitiFact says, a town hall participant asked Biden a question about white supremacy. FBI Director Chris Wray testified recently that racially motivated violent extremism, mostly from white supremacists, which is a joke. It's not. They just don't count it when it's not by them. And I got to tell you, the report, who put out the report? I can't remember who put it out. Was a joke. I read it cover to cover, but it's interesting that Ray testified that racially motivated violent extremism, mostly from white supremacists, makes up the biggest chunk of domestic terrorism. That's just holy shit. There's no way that is accurate. I'm sorry, just not. I hate to break it to you. They just don't count other. See, notice they say racially motivated violent extremism. How about politically motivated violent extremism? Or even I don't know. See, you got to see what they define as racially motivated violent extremism, because that wouldn't include the Antifa destruction that happens all over the place, or maybe not even the Black Lives Matter, the way they define things. So I got to see how they define it. Anyway, they continue. Biden said during NBC Town Hall that there hasn't been testing on children yet for COVID-19 vaccine. Typically, vaccine trials in children follow trials in adults. Pfizer plans to expand the trial to 16-year-olds. So, they did it. They have a mostly false here. While Biden supports engagement with Cuba, as Obama did, he has criticized the regime's record on human rights. Oh, so this is somebody's misleading attack on Biden. PolitiFact is just, oh my God. They might as well have given his balls a tongue bath, because that's all Politico does. F Politico, or PolitiFact. I know I don't have it on the screen, but anyway. Enough. I can't take it. Thank you. Let's see, I got another notification here. Thank you, Skeptop and Simius. Thank you so much for tweeting out the show. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to leave. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please do that right now. Before you do anything else, do not click away without clicking that thumbs up. And Duck Dog, the one thumbs down that I get daily from you, I appreciate it. That's between me and Duck Dog. Don't read anything into it. That's just what we do. And I am here Monday to Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 1500 GMT for the people around the world and who are not in my time zones, and use GMT because I know mine's -6, +6. I can't remember. It's +6, +7? No, I'm +6 because I'm in the Central time zone, so I'm +6. 1500, yeah, +6. Anyway. Or -6, 15 -6, whatever. Thank you so much for being here. It's been a lovely day. Irish Rose, I just noticed you were here, and maybe because you usually lurk, so I don't always remember that you're here. But hello, good morning, my friend. And that's it, people. I gotta go. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. Maybe I'll have an FTG Thursday like I usually do. I don't have a guest this Friday yet. I'm working on it. If I do, I'll announce tomorrow. And also, I'm trying to line up guests for the rest of the year. So hopefully I'll have a schedule. Normally the schedule is going to be on my PDawgKnight.live site right there. Share the stream if you're watching on replay. Put a comment in the comment section so that I know you're here. If you want to do donations and or super chats, now that I have the YouTube super chat button, Streamlabs, and then donations also through Venmo and Cashapp, which are in the description down below. Everything's related to me is PDawgKnight. So put whatever symbol you need to do, the @ or the $, PDawgKnight always works. No punctuation, no spaces. I gotta go, people. Thank you. My name is PDawgKnight. And I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.